Hi there, welcome to this video. In this video, we will look at Kentico's multilingual content. Now, this is a different video from setting up a multilingual site. Um, this video is really targeted at the content authors or editors who are using, or any business people who are using the Kentico portal and want to know how to deal with multilingual content, right? So this is a short video just to quickly show you how it actually works. My name is Clyde Souza. I'm a software developer by profession, and over the past few years, I've been working with Kentico sites and Kentico applications. And today we are looking at Kentico's Xperience product, which is their digital experience platform. The objectives of this video is very simple. We'll create content in a different culture, and finally we'll look at how to compare site content, and of course we'll end this video with how to find more information if you need to find more information. So let's start with creating content in a different culture. So now I'm going to log into the Kentico's admin portal. Has an editor. So that would be Andy, and with a password. Don't worry about this warning. So now I've logged in as Andrew Jones. And what I want to do is really update the content in a different culture. And so to do that, the first thing to note is that the cultures. So you might have a default one, and so in this case it is set to English. But if you want to switch between different languages, different cultures, you click on this drop down and switch to any other language that you want. Now let's have a look at the Spanish side, which has a lot of content already set up. Now, so if you're just joining a company which already has everything set up, and you're just required to update content in a different language, then this is a scenario that might actually be more be more suitable for you, or more apply to you. And so to do that, you would hopefully you actually understand the different language, but in this case I know that this is the home page, and if I have a look at the home page, you can see that everything is in Spanish. And so updating content in a different language is exactly the same as updating content in your primary language, right? So if you know how to do that, you know how to do this as well. So it's exactly the same. The only difference is that you need to switch between the language here and the language drop down. That's all you need to do. Content wise, it is exactly the same. You update content like you would, click on save, and the content has been updated. Now you might find yourself in situations where you are updating content in a different language, and you just want to compare it to the base site, the base language, which might be set up as English. So to do that, to compare content, you don't have to switch between these language these drop downs and remember all the content. What you can actually do is use the compare button here. This will open up a side-by-side window of your language that you're currently in, the culture that you're currently in, and another culture that is on the right hand side. So in this case it is defaulted to English, but if you want to compare it with the Hindi version of the site, then you can change that and do the same. Now the benefit of doing this is that not only are you comparing it with a different language, and let's say if you find that the content actually means something different in that language, and you just want to update that in this one to match the content on the right, you can do that. But what you also can do is, if you find that the content in this language does not really convey, so the content in the language on the left does not really convey back the content on the right hand side, or you know, on the other site, or on the base language. You can go back here and update the content here as well, and that should get saved. So in just one go, you can actually update multiple. Well, you can update the same page, but actually multiple sites at the same time using the compare feature. And of course, and obviously, if you go back to the English version of the site, you would have your changes displayed over there. So that, I think, is quite a neat feature to have, and so something that you need to just be aware of, you know, just in case you need it. So we had a look at updating content and comparing the site, but before we look at finding more information, let's switch over to a new site that we created in a third language, which is Hindi, and I have not translated all the pages yet, and so you would notice that the pages that are translated are in this you know, have this little green tick icon here, which is great, which just tells you that this is published. But of course, the other pages are not translated, and you would see that there's this little icon here, and so if you have not been working with a multilingual site before, if you've only been working with the base site, right? So in this case, you know, the base site was set as English. So if you've just been working on that site, you would actually have never seen this icon before, the page status icon before, and so really what this means is that it is, you know, this page exists on an other site, in which case this is English. It exists over there, but it just has not been translated into this current culture yet. And so for more information on the page status icons, you know, you can head over to the documentation site, and you have all these icons on the left, and a description of what they mean. In terms of the language, you have the faded A icon, which tells us that this is not available in the current culture, and a non-faded A. So it's a more emphasized A icon. This means that the page has been submitted to a translation service, and we are just waiting for it to be completed. So if you're using you know, an automatic translation service in the background, like Microsoft Translator or Google translation APIs, then it should be pretty quick. Again, it depends on the amount of content on your site. But of course, if you're doing it, if you're using a manual approach, then that means you're actually waiting for someone to translate it for you and then put the content back, in which case this icon would actually show up. And so that is just something that I just wanted to talk about in this in this video, just really address this icons. But in terms of the updating, in terms of the process of updating the content, it is exactly the same that we just looked at, you know, similar to what we looked at for the Spanish site. It is just exactly the same. If you really want to know, now as content editors, you might not know what translation services are being used in the background, or if it has not been set up correctly, then you need to go to your internal IT team and they should be able to tell you. Otherwise, if you you know, click on one of these pages that have not been translated and you click on use a translation service, this should give you a fairly good enough idea of what translation services are available. So it's, at the moment, the site is set up to use Microsoft's translation service and a manual translation service. Now, for more information, right, so we can go on and talk about this, and you know, there's a lot of information out there that's available for, you know, in the multilingual content. And so what I'll do is I'll add a link to the documentation site. So this Kentico documentation, you just need to make sure that you're looking at the right version, and then you can just search for whatever information it is that you need to find. And really what we wanted to look at in this video is really the icons, which really tells us about you know, a status, gives us a status about the page, and for any other information, you can just browse through this page, and have a look. Now, if you have any questions about this service or about what we just spoke, feel free to post it in the comments below, and I will get to I'll answer as many questions as I can. And like with any other video, just feel free to just subscribe to this channel, like you have done with any other YouTube videos that you've been watching. Subscribing to this channel will mean that you actually get notified about, or it comes into your feed, into your YouTube feed, whenever I post a new video on this channel. And of course, if you have actually liked the content, if you learned something from this video, just give it a thumbs up and share it with your network, with your friends and family. Thanks for watching this video. See ya.